Hey, welcome back, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how Jeffree Star at one time was close friends with Dahvie Vanity, and he exposed him for some pretty not okay things, only to work with him later on. I feel like this video is important for me to make because some people apparently somehow, even though it's surface level, don't know about this. So if you're unfamiliar, Jeffree Star is an American makeup artist, entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, DJ, beauty, YouTuber, model, and internet celebrity. He's the founder and owner of Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and he frequently used MySpace to promote his music career. It was actually in his MySpace era that he was very close friends with Dahvie Vanity, who now has over 22 sexual assault allegations, most of which are very, very young, barely teenage girls. I've been investigating Dahvie Vanity. I've been investigating victims just generally to bring light to this. So if you want to know more about that, I'll put the link to it in the description below. As I was doing the interviews and talking to all the survivors, one thing kept coming back up, and that was that Jeffree Star had witnessed a lot of these things. And at one point in time, back in 2010, he tweeted this: "I'm gonna speak the truth until I die. We saw Blood on the Dance Floor music Dahvie bring underage girls to his hotel room and do sexual things. 100% illegal. I no longer support Blood on the Dance Floor music, and how disgusting Dahvie is. Touching children and enjoying the attention is evil. F off, sicko. Being on tour with that child blanker has made me see the truth. I regret ever doing a song with that pig. Rest in peace, cause you'll never be me. If you support that piece of, then unfollow me because you're supporting a child. Dahvie is the lowest, worthless scum that I have ever met." The thing that bothers me the most about this is that he said that he's seen these things happen, which kind of correlates with the story that I'm hearing from a lot of the survivors, is that he was there, he saw the things. Maybe he felt uncomfortable at the time, maybe there's a multitude of things that we could say as to why he didn't report it to the police. Maybe he was under a contract. Maybe he was afraid to break that contract. I don't know. But something that really twists me the wrong way in this situation is how just a couple years after this, he is back to being best friends with Dahvie, on tour, making songs. I don't understand that. I love Dahvie like a brother. So much love for Blood on the Dance Floor after 7 years of friendship. Nothing can tear us apart. Somebody actually said, so why did you make false accusations about him? To which Dahvie responds, Jeffree has apologized to my face for making those false accusations. It's dead and buried. We are cool. I've been interviewing a lot of people to do with this Dahvie Vanity investigation. Some public, some not. Some are too afraid and want to remain anonymous. But a lot of those people say that they witnessed Jeffree Star, people like Jayy, Monroe, and many others that just openly saw this happening. They witnessed Dahvie kissing them, showing affection. Another thing we talked about actually had to do with Jeffree Star, where you talked about how both he and Jay knew the relationship between you and Dahvie and actually witnessed him kissing you.
Yeah, they witnessed many girls kissing him. I wasn't the only one. Dahvie was very affectionate with a lot of his fans, and he was fucking a lot of them. And it was normal in the scene to be kind of like lovey and touchy and stuff, but like Dahvie took it quite a bit far with quite a few very young fans, and Jeffree Star and Jay witnessed it. The thing that like really blows my mind, and it was dredged up very recently, was the Katie interview where she talked about the X×3 video. Jay is in that video, and I think he might even be filming. I haven't seen the video in years because it triggers the hell out of me, but it blows my mind, the ability to sit back and go, I didn't know anything, when there is video proof of you being there watching a girl being sexually assaulted. And the same goes to Jeffree Star and his tirade of tweets, which only came out after he was personally financially affected by Dahvie. But then as soon as it was all glazed over, he went right back to supporting him. And it seems like it's all about financial, whether or not Dahvie is lining your pockets, not actually whether they care about victims.
You can see here the 2010 tour, and then again here the 2012 tour. So after this tour, he came out with the tweets and then decided to work with him again, even making and releasing a single in 2014 called Poison Apple. So with the way things are lining up, with the amount of people that I've spoken to about this behind the scenes, some public, some not, Jeffree Star, jayy, Monroe, a lot of people in the scene knew full well. I've even heard people say it was an open secret. I made a tweet about this a couple days ago, and there was the Jeffree Star stands, and they'll stand up for him over anything. So Stan, I get it. But listen, what do you do when, okay, it was an edgier time. The behaviors that you had during that time reflected that time. You've evolved and moved on. I understand that. But what do you do when your apology about your behavior doesn't umbrella over all these other people that are emotionally affected? And I think that's what we're seeing now. Of course, there's a lot of attention on not just Dahvie Vanity, but a lot of other musicians from that scene are being drug up and exposed for the terrible things that they did at that time that for some reason was an open secret. For some reason people want to say was acceptable because it was a different era. I don't think so. But the emotional turmoil that they went through, an apology from the past doesn't help them. It doesn't heal them. It's not a secret. Jeffree Star has a very sketchy past, especially from the 2010 era when he was touring with Dahvie. We've seen most recently with the James Charles drama that he quickly called James Charles a predator, only to try to become friendly with him again afterwards. It's very reminiscent of the Dahvie incident. It's hard to tell if what he says is the truth or not. The past is the past. I'm a firm believer of you do not base things off the past. You can grow from it. You can become better. You can do things better. But if there's things in the past that you've not talked about, or things in the past to do, especially with Dahvie, that could help further the investigation, that can benefit and help alleviate these people's pain that's been affected by this person. And this story resonates with any story of abuse. Your story matters. You got to understand that these stories bring to the light many, many things. It puts it in front of the eyes of the people that need to see it in order to progress forward and to make a change. And I do want to point out that the full narrative of the situation between him and Dahvie is very, very much public. There was a whole incident yesterday on Twitter with Blaire White. YouTuber Tehmimi, great creator, I highly recommend, made a video where she was talking about what I'm talking about today, that Jeffree Star at one point in time came out exposing doing the right thing and then retracted it and started working with Dahvie Vanity again. This video was then, full context clips were taken from her video and then used in a video by Blaire White, where Blaire White kind of only talked about Jeffree Star coming out against Dahvie Vanity, but did not show the parts where he retracted it and started being friends with him again. This rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It caused a huge Twitter argument because how could she have not seen? I mean, she took the clips from Tehmimi's video. The reason I feel like this is so important to talk about is because Blaire White has a huge platform and she's known to help survivors. She's known to be on top of these stories, and for her to come in and potentially spread misinformation of someone that may or may not have been complicit, it can be dangerous for the investigation. So that's my issue with it. The other thing is that, like I said, when you're investigating stories like this as they're developing, those kind of mistakes can be made. But with this information, it's all surface level. It's within reach. I'll show you a little later in the video. And I just think a greater deal of care needs to be taken into consideration. Blaire claimed that she didn't know that Jeffree retracted his statements and became friends again with Dahvie Vanity. I replied and said, "They want to know, how could you have not known? You picked clips from the video in a way that would have made it impossible not to. It looks like you aren't telling the truth to save face. If it's a simple mistake, explain it." To which she replied, "Rather than asking me to explain something I've already explained multiple times, can anyone give me a logical explanation why I would push for more info on the Jeffree aspect of the story with Jay only a couple days later? Why would I do that if I was protecting him?" She's referring to the Chris Hansen live stream, where she did correct herself there when she was asking Jay. But the whole thing about that is Blaire White says at the time of her video that she really didn't know Jeffree Star had retracted his statements about Dahvie and started working with him again. That's fair enough. Sometimes on developing stories, you mess up. You screw up in research and you just need to say so. But a lot of people wasn't buying it because the clips that were picked out of Tehmimi's video, there's no way that you could have missed it. She said she scanned the video from a visual image and only picked out the clips that she was looking for. It's really hard to say if that's the truth or not, but this is how the conversation went. "You mentioned that you held the task days later. Was it in video or is there a link we can go to?" Then she links the timestamp interview with Chris Hansen where she did press Jay for information, saying, "I pushed Jay Von Monroe directly involved in the actual story multiple times in the video to talk about it. If I wanted to protect Jeffree Star, I would have not done this. I said that your previous Jeffree Star video did not have easily found full context, but instead made a point opposite to the clips used from another video that showed the full narrative. The narrative you updated on in above interview days later. People are upset because it looks like you pandered." She replied, "I overlooked a fact I wasn't looking for. How is it worth this much hate? LMAO. I was interested in Dahvie and the victims. I wasn't listening to commentary about Jeffree Star. If I didn't correct it and publicly press it just days later, I could see why people will be angry, but I did. I said if you're admitting to messing up in research on a developing story, that is fair enough and it happens all the time. Raising awareness is most important, but in doing so, I want to make sure that those that may have been complicit are not praised." And then I linked her a part where Dahvie Vanity victim Damien Leonhardt, aka Jessi Slaughter, talks about Jeffree Star and Jay, and that will be linked in the description. Specifically how that Jeffree Star and Jay both witnessed Dahvie showing affection, kissing her and loving her. That's a really big deal there. Blaire responds with, "All I've done is admit to the mistake and it's not good enough for people. They want to believe I did it out of malice or evil intentions. Anything less isn't interesting enough for them." So if you haven't been keeping up, Tehmimi made a video showing how Jeffree Star exposed Dahvie Vanity and then started working with him afterwards. A couple days later, Blaire White makes a video praising Jeffree Star for exposing Dahvie Vanity without the context that he started working with him days later. Now, because of this, a lot of people felt that Blaire White was pandering Jeffree Star because he's a bigger YouTuber trying to social climb and things like that. I watched Tehmimi's video on that. Blaire White says that no, she was not pandering. She just missed the part where Jeffree Star retracted and started working with Dahvie. A lot of people saying there's no way that she just used so many clips throughout Tehmimi's video that was about that specifically and didn't get the full context. Blaire says, well, as soon as that she did know the full context, she days later corrected her mistake. I don't know if that's the truth or not. No one can know that. We can't. You just gotta kind of like believe one side or the other on this. Now, I do want to say this, and this is food for thought. Let's say Blaire made a mistake on research. Now, as a YouTuber, integrity is important, credibility, it's all important, and you want to do your research. This information about Jeffree Star retracting his statement is surface level public knowledge. Anybody can do this right now. Go to Google, type in Jeffree Star Dahvie Vanity. Images on first page. Right here you see the tirade of tweets here where Jeffree Star went off. Also on the same front page, just scroll down just a look. Oh, there it is. There's the 2013 tweet. I love Dahvie like a brother. Here's the other one where he says, so much love for blood on the dance floor. After 7 years of friendship, nothing can tear us apart. So this is surface level information. Honestly, Blair may have made a mistake in research, but she should have knew this. Here's my question to you, Jeffree Star, complicit or not? Straight from the victim's mouth, says that he knew, he understood what was going on. Straight from his own mouth, he tweeted saying that he knew what was going on. He saw it, 100% illegal, his own words. Should he come forward now with any type of information towards this situation? Do you think that will help alleviate pain from the victims? Also realizing that there's two sides to this. There's some people on this side and there's some people on this side of this. Do you think that Blaire White ripped Tehmimi's video off and purposely omitted the information to pander to Jeffree Star? Or do you think that it was an honest mistake? Let me know, because as interesting as this is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guys say, I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes. As always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. Man, yesterday was crazy. I do want to apologize that I haven't been consistent on my uploads in the last 2 weeks. My mental health has not been good, but I do appreciate everybody for going over and following the Facebook page. It means a lot. We're over 5,000 followers. I think we're like 5,300, and my goal for this entire year is 10,000. So if you guys want to help me out with that, link is going to be in the description. If you need to reach out to me specifically about the Dahvie Vanity investigation or any other information that you feel like may help the case, DM me. Allow me a couple days, maybe 3, to get back to you, because there's a lot of DMs that come in, but I will get back to you. Other than that, I want to thank my patrons, you guys, for supporting the channel. It means a lot. We're currently at 105 patrons with a goal of 120 patrons. I love how engaging the Patreon is. I love how engaging the Facebook is. We're breaking milestones and goals this year with all your guys' support. I can't explain how much that means to me, but I will say that I know that you're repping. If you're not repping, you're gagging. Hey, do that. I'll get a subscribe and notifications turned on. Be in the comment section after every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well. And I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you. Oh man, my brain is just weird.